They didn't disguise their disdain subtly. The event was exclusive, her sister declared, populated by the wealthy and privileged. I don't want you to feel out of place. This was her way of implying that we were unrefined. That my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter, wasn't fit to mingle with people in expensive suits and superficial grins. My wife remained silent, her gaze fixed on the floor as if it held the solutions. I chose not to defend myself. I simply stated that we wouldn't be attending. But I never forget slights, especially those that injure my daughter's spirit. My wife's family never appreciated me. They tolerated me. I wasn't born into the right social circle, didn't holiday in Aspen, didn't inherit a corporation or a yacht. I constructed a life with my own hands and intellect, steady, modest, reputable. But I was never part of the elite. They would often comment that my daughter resembled me. Not a compliment, not coming from their lips. For the first time, they openly declared, "You are not part of our group," at a family wedding. I remained silent and observed. My daughter wept in her room, trying to mask the pain. I gave her a silent promise. They will come to regret this. After that, my wife seemed to smile more around them, laugh louder at their jokes. Perhaps she believed association with the poison would protect her. Maybe she had forgotten whom she married. Or maybe she no longer cared. I did not demand her loyalty. Instead, I acknowledged her betrayal. They displayed wedding photos as trophies, my wife in the center with her sisters, dressed like one of them, while my daughter and I were absent, as if we had passed away. I saved one such photo in our safe along with our legal documents, a constant reminder. Christmas arrived in December, and my wife suggested hosting it, saying it was our turn. The family gathered were sisters, their partners, nieces, nephews, and the mother with a wine-stained tongue. I smiled and replied, "Naturally." Preparing for a notable occasion, I enacted one discreet alteration. The dwelling we had inhabited for 17 years, the one I financed, now officially belonged to my daughter. Legally, permanently, it was transferred via a trust I'd cultivated over time. My daughter stood as the exclusive beneficiary. I carried out the deed without ceremony. Paperwork submitted, deed signed. Everything legal and transparent. On Christmas Eve, the family arrived in lavish vehicles and pretentious air. My wife dispensed wine. I assumed the role of host. My daughter adorned herself in a navy dress she purchased with her allowance. She was radiant, flawless. Yet, the space around her persisted in feeling empty. Once more, it seemed she didn't quite fit. Then the discourse shifted to wealth, properties, inheritances. My wife's elder sister boasted about her real estate holdings in Malibu. And my daughter, sipping cider, murmured, "This house, isn't it something?" They chuckled, but I remained silent. I rose and gave a nod. "You are correct. I transferred ownership last month." A heavy silence descended, as if a guillotine had fallen. My wife blinked, paused. "You? What?" I conveyed the title deed. To her. "It's irrevocable." The room seemed to halt. Her mother set down her drink. "Without discussing it with your spouse." I met everyone's gaze, letting my coldness show. I consulted the only person whose future matters, my daughter's. My wife opened her mouth, but remained silent. Her sister's husband chuckled nervously. "That's a daring move." "It's an essential one," I answered. Given this family's emphasis on appearances, I thought it was time she owned something you couldn't keep her away from. After that, there was no more talk. They finished their wine and left before midnight. The house echoed emptily afterward. My wife didn't join me in bed. She departed 2 days later without a word or an explanation. She simply packed a suitcase and drove to her sister's place. She likely thought I'd pursue her, but I didn't. Instead, she filed for separation and I complied. She desired the house during the division, which I conceded, allowing my attorney to hand over the deed. When she saw her name on it alongside mine, she accused me of coercion. However, the trust documents were without flaw, signed before Christmas, notarized, reflecting my explicit intentions and legally binding. She wept in court, but her family supported her. Yet, the judge remained unyielding. She departed with garments and a few pieces of furniture. That was all she received. My daughter retained the house, while I stayed. The aftermath was satisfying. Her siblings distanced themselves upon realizing she had no leverage. No home to entertain guests. No pretense of our affluent lifestyle. She attempted to ascend their social hierarchy, but I removed a step beneath her. And my daughter? She flourished. bold, unrepentant. She knew now that I would never again let them determine her value. Occasionally, she rests by the window while engrossed in a book, still wearing her navy dress, which was once a source of scorn. She gazes upon the world that was deliberately withheld from her, and recognizes that she possesses more than they ever could. I require no accolades. I seek no boisterous retribution. Instead, I yearn for a solitary gesture, followed by the hush that descends when everything disintegrates.